We're live.
How about that? That's exciting.
It is exciting.
Now we
So
won't know. Oh
I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
says live and
We're
no
live.
live and yeah. Here we go.
So should we wait? We should wait. Hello, if you're
Yes.
watching. We're waiting for people to populate. And
I,
but Don, where did you see when people entered? You said you saw people enter.
no, I only saw when Kathy came in. That was it.
Okay.
I don't think we'll be able to see when people on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn are in. So we should just, maybe start our thing at maybe at 12:01 just to get people in, perhaps.
Okay. Oh, now I see more people. I see Irma.
I do too.
Hello. We're just wait. We're gonna wait. There's
Wait, five.
David
Oh, yeah.
Franklin. Hi, David.
We should wait 5 minutes.
There's
Make sure
Sherry
everyone's
Priest
in.
Wildhaber
Hello, sister.
and Carrie Coslow.
We can't hear them, but that's
No, we
fine.
can't. No, I'm just looking at them. Oh, there's
Yes.
Ellie Torres, my beautiful friend Ellie. Karen Klink. Hello.
No, I don't see any of these. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just seeing your quotes. I'm not seeing any of them. You're special. I don't get to see them.
I'm the I'm the boss. Hello, Lynn. Your sister says hi, brother.
Yes, I can see that now. Hello, sister.
How is that?
This is just like a professional
It is.
presentation.
Well, we're
Just
going
like
to
one.
wait a
It's
couple
not.
minutes. Hello, whoever's showing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, we should just wait. Maybe we'll wait till 12:05. Let everyone get in, settle, get their popcorn.
I'm just going to say hello to everybody as it's
Yes,
populating.
as they come in.
Hello, Lynn. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Monica and Gwen. And I already said hello to Karen and Dina.
Dina. This is like romper room.
And Bruce. Hello, Bruce. So supportive, Bruce from WGA, one of my colleagues, an amazing writer. And Kim and Mara and Wendy, who's in the documentary,
And
and
so is
Mara.
Mara.
Yeah. And Rachel. Okay, so we're at 12:01. We're just going to wait probably like 5
Wait till
minutes.
12:05. Yeah, let's wait till
Yeah, to get
12:05. Yeah.
started. So, anything entertaining to talk about, guys?
Let's see. Does anyone have any jokes?
All right, help me say hello to everybody then.
All right.
Susan and
Well, let's see.
Rachel
Hello,
and,
Susan
and
Ross, Carol
Jan
Cooper Driscoll, Jan, Shelley, Dawn Marvel. It's filling up. I hope we have enough seats.
and Kim Miller,
Kim Miller,
our
I from
beautiful
Michigan.
Kim.
There's Irma, Jeanette.
Uh-huh. Anita. It's
Kathy
interesting. We're just
Michelson
using this. This is
Leiblich.
a new platform for us.
Yes, we've not used it before.
So we're building up. We have 57 people so far.
Nice.
Amazing. Really appreciate the support.
Carol Davis. Right on, Carol.
Yeah, definitely. Carol says this. She says, our election is integrity network is advocating for protection for the voting rights of vulnerable voters in long-term care facilities across the nation. And says, thank you for the important work you're doing to raise awareness. You're very welcome.
And thank you.
Thank you for doing that because it is important. Debbie, Victoria, Monica Eastway, hello. Also participating in the documentary. All right. So we're
Give
going to
another
wait.
couple minutes. Yeah, we'll just wait another couple. We'll start at 12:05. How about that?
Okay.
Because they're still piling in. There's Alexis and Debbie Prothro.
Well, hi, Alexis. Thank you for joining. And Debbie. If you're watching from LinkedIn, unfortunately, you can't post. Although, wait, let
I
me
don't
see.
even know if we'll see them coming in because it
Yeah, we'll
doesn't
see them. We'll see
post.
by the number. You see the number on the top.
Oh,
There,
yeah.
yeah.
See, I don't see any of this. You guys have me at a disadvantage.
Oh, wait. I
Ah,
take that back because David is on. David Franklin, you're on LinkedIn, and I see
and
your.
he's commenting. He made a
Mhm.
comment.
This is,
Well, how about
there he
that?
is.
There he is. Very happy to join in. All right. Well,
Okay, well, maybe
they
so.
lied
Then
to us.
he did. All right, we're waiting one more minute.
As they come in.
Okay, well, it's 12:05, so I will just start.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll be a little wordy. So I just wanted to say hello. Thank you all for joining us on your weekend, Saturday. We really, really appreciate the support. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Susie Singer Carter, and I'm the writer and the director and producer, one of the producers of this upcoming docu-series No Country for Old People, which is a hard-hitting docu-series that chronicles the last 6 months of my mother's life in 2022 in a 5-star nursing home here in Los Angeles. And it exposes the decades-long corrupt, abusive, torturous, and often deadly business of deadly profit over people business model of our long-term care system. In the film, we answer 4 questions. What happens? How does it happen? Why does it happen? And then how do we fix it? The long-term care crisis is fueled by pervasive ageism, ableism, and greed. And that has been causing insufferable consequences for our most vulnerable, particularly our elderly, and particularly our healthcare workers who are experiencing severe moral injury as they strive to deliver quality care. And this issue has been going on for 50 years, which is, I'm going to say that again, 50 years it's been going on. And yet most people have no idea. And I didn't. I had no idea until I met my co-producer, Rick Montcastle. So I'm going to throw the floor to him, to Rick.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rick Mountcastle. I'm coming to you from the Low Country in South Carolina. I'm a retired federal and state prosecutor, and some of my work was depicted in the Emmy-nominated miniseries Dope Sick, where I was portrayed by Peter Sarsgaard. In addition to prosecuting OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma, I spent a significant part of my career prosecuting fraud, abuse and neglect, and other crimes in the nursing home industry. Despite countless hours working on these cases, nothing changed. In fact, the fraud and waste continued, and the outcomes for patients and residents got worse. And in the nursing home industry in particular, neglect, like unanswered call bells, residents soiling themselves and waiting hours to be cleaned, missed meals and medication, and other mistreatment are now the norm. And this is outrageous and needs to be changed now. As Susie mentioned, this grotesquely poor care has been ongoing for 5 decades. It's clear that traditional advocacy doesn't work because the owners pour millions of dollars into campaign contributions, lobbying, and even funding industry insiders to become legislators. This means that change must come from the bottom up. It must start with all of us. That's why, as we complete this docuseries, we're launching the People Over Profit movement, a collective movement to shame our legislators, policymakers, regulators, and others to do the right thing, and that is to put care for people over profit. We want to create a cultural shift by activating our society to care for our most vulnerable and to demand more for the billions in tax dollars spent for ridiculously bad care. We're asking you to join us. First, use the QR code in the bottom right corner of your screen to make a tax-deductible donation to help complete the film. We're in the final polishing phase and need just $30,000 for sound mixing, music licensing, publicity, and to mobilize the movement. The film is completely funded through more than 150 supporters who've made tax-deductible donations through our fiscal sponsor, the National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care. Every donation will receive film credit and a tribute, and whether you're able to donate or not, please become part of the movement. To find out more, go to the No Country for Old People website, which is scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and navigate to the People Over Profit tab. Thank you all for being here today and for your support.
Thank you, Rick. Hi, I'm Don Priest. I'm the producer and editor of No Country for Old People. And again, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Your support is so meaningful to us. We also want to thank the following organizations for supporting today's watch party: the National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care, Lori Smetanka; California Advocates for Nursing Home Reform, or CANNER, Tony Chicotel; Long-Term Care Community Coalition, Richard Mollett; Essential Caregivers Coalition, Irma Rappaport and Mary Daniel; Innerhive, Crystal Gallo; and PTOT SLP United for Autonomy, Tiffany Miller-Moniz, Deanne Edwards, and Liz Norton. So what you're going to see today is, we call it a sizzle. It's a 25-minute preview of No Country for Old People. Please be aware that the sizzle you will see is designed as a graphical representation of our final three-part, three-hour series and does not reflect the full scope or narrative structure of the actual film. The sizzle aims to capture the essence and themes of the documentary, but viewers should note that the final film will present a different pacing, tone, and detail. Please put your questions or comments in the chat, and we will try to answer some of those after the video. And now, please enjoy, well, hopefully, the sizzle for No Country for Old People.
As I watched my mother fade away within the confines of a nursing home, I discovered that behind the facade of care lies a dark reality of neglect and abuse. This is the story of our struggle and countless others trapped in the grip of the nursing home crisis.
The founder of Cleveland-based Life Care Centers of America is now one of the richest people in America.
The average nursing home is making a ton of money.
The way they move their money is just like a criminal enterprise.
They prefer to line their own pockets.
I've said for 40 years it's legal money laundering.
You just gotta follow the money. This is a $1 trillion business.
We're taking our elders, we're putting them in a warehouse and throwing away the key.
Raping is low staff.
Meanwhile, 10 residents have died from dehydration.
You get stripped of your dignity, you're tortured, and you're tortured to death.
169,291 nursing home residents died who normally wouldn't have died.
That's completely inappropriate, and there's terms for that.
What are those terms?
Oh, that's murder.
You are literally killing people to make more money.
It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. Ooh, my dear.
And you have to wait for Rosa. She's coming. Go, Edie. She likes to know what you're doing. Good girl.
Hi, Mom. It's me, Susie. What happened? What's the matter? What hurts? Is it the wound?
I think so.
You're hurting her. But the pump is in the wound, right? Oh, it's bleeding.
I know.
See, you've got to have...
Yeah, I'm not. Put this and then pull.
But she's on the tube. Mommy, it's okay. I'm right here. I'm right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. The whole... It's like they haven't checked her all day. It's okay, Mommy. It's okay. Sorry, Mama. Sorry, Mama. I know. So sorry.
I'll cover this one first.
There's a big problem with understaffing. It's at the root of every nursing home problem.
Staffing ratios for most skilled nursing facilities is absurd.
A nursing home can save as much as $1 million a year by keeping their staffing low. And then they keep the wages low and they make money on that.
You have massive profits going to the top, and at the bottom, you have elder abuse. You have the development of pressure injuries, falls, dehydration, malnutrition, infections that become serious. All of that is going on at the nursing home level due to chronic understaffing.
Staffing is the root of all evil. You know, low staffing, it just really is.
So I'm a nurse in long-term care, and today I got put on the rehab unit. Usually I work dementia. One of the family members literally sat there and cried with me for a half an hour about how her mom is going to die here, and it made me bawl my eyes out. And she looks at me, she goes, "Do you guys just like not care?" I'm like, it's not that. I definitely care. We cannot do everything. It's so messed up. My 12-hour shift, I get 25 minutes per person. The CNAs, they only work 8 hours. They get 8 minutes per person. We need to do better.
Yeah, that's my mom. You might have heard of her. She sings opera when she was 9, and then she had her own radio show when she was 16, like a big shot. In New York City on CBS, right? And then she belted out a song and he went, whoa, whoa, what? Who's singing that? And they all said, her, the little one with the big voice. Right? That was you. Everyone loved Norma. Right? Yeah. Everyone. All the men, all the women, but a lot of men too. Am I right? And the autumn weather. She's singing. You singing with me? We just did the whole movie. Good? Goody, 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 good.
It's been really hard this whole 4 months, and I am a wreck from this, and trying to be strong for my mom.
No long-term care facility should allow a resident to get bed sores or other injuries because wounds are not being treated. That should be just taken care of routinely. And if it's not, somebody's not doing their job.
And I haven't been able to work, and I just feel unmotivated, and I feel impotent to help my mom.
The issues that were challenges that the organization and the people working in this space were dealing with way back in 1975 are still the same issues that we're dealing with today.
So finally, I was so frustrated and said, are we moving forward for the residents or for the nursing homes? You know, we've spent 6 hours on this subject. Meanwhile, 10 residents have died from dehydration. There's nobody there to give them a drink of water.
You're specifically doing it to make sure the patient just dies in 10 minutes. That's completely inappropriate, and there's terms for that. Oh, that's murder.
Focus, especially in nursing homes, is really more on hospice. And the reason is because hospice is now a really big business in the United States.
Hospice companies make a lot of money on having hospice clients.
Hospice now is very different. Hospice is big business.
Death is a big business.
What kind of words you got for me? What kind of words you got? Like maybe, I love you? Like maybe, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Oh, sweet. What in the world? Like,
I'm tired, and obviously depressed, and I feel like I've been going through her dying for the past 4 months because everyone's telling me that she's dying, but she doesn't die. But they're trying to make her die faster than she wants to.
Yeah, you're dry. You're dry? You have a dry throat? I know. That's from not having liquid. I'm gonna get you liquid right now, okay? I'm gonna get you juice.
Think about what it would feel like if you weren't allowed to drink for 2 days, 3 days, a week, 6 months. People need to start thinking about how that would feel, because if you live long enough, you're probably going to end up going through that.
A lot of times it is fear on the side of the clinician. I don't want this person to choke and die. Well, that's what they hired you for, to help them to eat without choking and dying.
Good job, Mommy. Suck on it. Get the juice out. Good girl. Okay, now. Yeah.
And as a result, she's in pain because they're not taking care of her.
These are individuals who are holding a license, and I think as a society, we need to look at that and this accountability. We are not just warehousing individuals. When they accept a resident, they're saying that they have the expertise to appropriately care for those individuals. If they can't, then they shouldn't be accepting them.
We had a gentleman who had no cognitive deficits and he rang us from his room and said, I have not been bathed in a month. A month.
Crazy because I'm there every day and I still am fighting to get people to pay attention. So, and I'm also the enemy there now, and that doesn't feel good. So
why my mother usually got better care, honestly, is because people would see me coming and they were like, uh-oh. And that's not the relationship I want to have with people, but that is the relationship I needed to have for my mother to get what she needed.
You're wrong, and you don't know what you're talking about, and and then the fear in you, and then they start kind of putting a criminal feeling on you, like if you even think about it, if something happens, then you're not a good carer. You haven't been a good carer. You're the bad other now, and you listen to what we say, and this is the best thing for her, and it was horrifying. It was absolutely horrifying, and she never went home after that. Never.
it's really hard for one person to advocate, let alone I can't imagine the people that have no one to advocate.
Fighting for his dignity, for proper end-of-life care, was a horrible battle from hell.
And I'm calling the nurse's station. There's no one picking up the damn phone.
My mother's death was a brutal death at the nursing home.
The way they move their money is just like a criminal enterprise. This looks just like money laundering.
Raping is low staff. Choking is low staff.
First, you get stripped of your dignity. Second, you're tortured. And third, you're tortured to death.
It's a combination between the ableism and the ageism in this country. You know, these people are at the bottom of the heap. It's where things are. To me, it's the shame of the nation. They're throwaway people. That's all they are, just throwaway people.
When cash is the primary reason for doing something anywhere in the healthcare system, people suffer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
We want to turn now to the crisis facing nearly every nursing home across the country. 87% of providers are facing staffing shortages.
The nation's largest nursing home association is warning of negative impacts for their industry in the Biden administration's Build Back Better plan.
It's nice to say let's have these mandatory minimum staffing levels, but there are no Medicaid funds or Medicare funds or any other funding in the Build Back Better bill to pay for this.
I struggle to accept the premise that nursing homes are underfunded when their owners are living in homes that are sometimes worth $11 million.
There is the huge ethical issue within this industry is you are literally killing people to make more money.
There are no Medicaid funds or Medicare funds to pay for this.
This is because moral injury, right? And because of this gap between what we want to do and what are we doing. It's terrifying because you are talking about 1 to 2 physicians dying every day in this country by suicide, and then you have nurses and other healthcare professionals, so and their numbers are not necessarily better.
A shocking video just coming to light. 2 nursing home employees caught on camera tormenting.
Gave proof through the night.
What changed the disability movement was Mothers from Hell. So what's going to change long-term care is Daughters from Hell. So there you are.
I'm in. That's me.
We're experiencing extraordinary times that require extraordinary commitment to making a difference and being the change. I mean, think about how many movements in human history were shaped by the poets, the artists, people doing documentaries, music, you know, and that's how we can shift and shape and revolutionize our care system. So it does really begin with us.
How do we change a system that is so corrupt, that has been this way for decades? It really is going to be a matter of the community coming together and uniting to combat that influence.
If being honest and having integrity gets you in trouble, keep doing it.
A project like this, I think, would hopefully wake the consciousness that there is no left or right when it comes to taking care of older adults. We all have a duty as a society, community, as humans, to take care of our older adults. And if we lose that sense of consciousness, I don't think we don't have a humanity.
Do we care about the patients, the residents, or do we care about the finances of the healthcare industrial complex? And we have to look in the mirror and ask ourselves as a country, what are we going to do for our older adults, for our most vulnerable, for our loved ones? And I think that's why you're doing this documentary.
Whoops. There we go. Well, that's the 25-minute sizzle. It kind of takes my breath away every time I watch it. It's very difficult for me. I think we could go to questions if people have questions. So many. I'm looking at your just input about you've either been through it, the same thing, how horrified you are. Can we share this? Yes, you can share this. We can do more watch parties till the full project gets out there. Yeah, it just can't be ignored anymore. We are warehousing our most vulnerable, and it's unconscionable. Somebody asked why, if the federal government knows that this is happening, why is it continuing to happen? I'll let Rick answer that.
Yeah, the government is a big bureaucracy. It basically the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services under HHS is the agency responsible for oversight of nursing homes, and they take the tax dollars that are used for Medicare, for the short stay in nursing homes, for rehab, and the Medicaid, which is partially about 50% funded by the federal government, 50% funded by the state for the long-term care. And they basically administer those, and they have the regulations. The problem is that they are limited in terms of their enforcement staff and their ability to enforce, and they're limited by the pressure from the industry to prevent them from doing things differently. One of the things that might help is to provide some of the funding that is going to the nursing home owners to run these places, provide some of that money to the people that are taking care of their loved ones at home. Because I know that family caregivers get virtually no support. And so sometimes because of that circumstances, you have no choice but to, you get to the point where you have no choice but to have your loved one go into one of these facilities, because you can't take care of them at home, either because you work, because of finances, because of their health situation. So the feds they're not really allowed to do a significant amount of enforcement. There's a whole bunch of procedures in place where they can go out, and when they find some violations, they give them essentially what's like a parking ticket. They give them a fine, and then there's a whole procedure where they can appeal that fine. And there's a lot of pressure from all different aspects, from the industry, who are embedded in all phases, and so they can influence how things are done and how much enforcement or how little enforcement there is. And the prime example is that recently, in the last few months, CMS proposed mandatory minimum staffing. Even though what they proposed was not sufficient, it was something. It was a start. Because there are no mandatory minimum staffing requirements right now. The industry has borne all of its money and influence to stopping that. They have had some of their cronies in Congress submit a bill that would prevent CMS from imposing any kind of staffing standards. So that's kind of what the federal government is up against. It's the influence of big money, industry and owners who give campaign contributions and give lots of money to politicians, both at the federal and the state level, to keep things the same, basically. And that's really, that's why. That's the root of the why.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking at other questions. So Kathy says, did I have access to a long-term care ombudsman? And if so, were they able to help at all? I did not have access to an ombudsman. I didn't even know that there was an ombudsman available to me. However, since doing this documentary, we know how incredibly toothless ombudsmen are, because they're just not given the power to do what they need to do or what they should do or can do. They shouldn't have to do it, but they, nevertheless, they're not given the power to help the way they should. And oftentimes the help that they can provide takes so long that your loved one is either suffering, for weeks, months, whatever it is, or passes away because nothing is addressed as quickly as it should be, as timely. So the ombudsman program suffers greatly. It's for the most part volunteer. It's not funded federally, and so it's ineffective at best. And that's not saying anything bad about the ombudsman, because as you saw in the sizzle, Maureen Painter, who's one of the spokespeople for the ombudsman community, and she'll tell you just how, which she does in our documentary, just how impotent they are despite trying to help. And there's just not enough of them. They're not paid, and they don't have they're not given the rights to do what they need to do, to make the reports that they need to make, and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and I would add that they are underfunded and understaffed pretty much across the country. I think we addressed this in the full version of the film. We talk about how New York is the ratio of ombudsmen to nursing homes and nursing home patients is unbelievably it's so incredibly low that there's no way that they can provide coverage. It's like, you know, one ombudsman for thousands of patients or thousands of residents. Recently in Missouri, and again, the lobby doesn't want ombudsmen looking over their shoulders. So, for example, very recently in Missouri, the legislature had proposed funding the ombudsman program. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was millions of dollars for 2 years straight. The governor vetoed both of those, so they get nothing. And so that's the issue with ombudsman, again, is understaffed, underfunded, and all of the procedures are in place to protect the nursing home and not the resident that the ombudsman would be representing.
Mm-hmm. And Debbie Pronthros asking about forming family councils within the nursing homes. We talked to a lot of people that have done that. I think it's better than not doing it, but again, you know, it's not going to make a tremendous amount of change, or the change that you want, or you know, the ideal change that you're looking for, because there's no oversight, there's no enforcement that's going to force your facility to do what you're asking. Like when I wanted to have my mom be seen by a speech therapist to prove that she wasn't aspirating, you know, I couldn't force them. They would just say, we'll look into it, we'll look into it, we'll look into it. So, you know, because most people in nursing homes are not paying private, they're going to get paid. So we are not the customer. The government is the customer. And that's a problem. Rick, anything else?
No, I think, no, the more voices that you have, more family advocates that you have, that's very important.
Sure.
It's very, you know, and as Susie talked about in the sizzle, she was there advocating every day. Can you imagine if the person, the resident who had no one to advocate, you know, and I've seen that in cases that they are basically put off to the side and completely neglected. So there is a place for the family councils to get in there and try to change things. But, you know, at the end of the day, if the nursing home owner says, hey, my budget is not going to allow me to provide adequate staffing, I don't think that's going to change that aspect of the equation. But it's a good start.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than the alternative of having no voices, right? I mean, certainly that's the ideal situation. Kelly, you said some nursing homes go to lengths to protect their image and rating. Found after research, our ombudsman was related to the nursing home administrator. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Also, we addressed that in the documentary, where 5 stars, as you can see from my mom's facility, are not indicative of what's actually the quality of that facility. There's all ways to manipulate those scores. They all, you know, in my mom's case and in so many cases, you know, there's so many never events that CMS outlines as never events in a nursing home that they should be, you know, severely fined for anybody that has a pressure wound or a fall. UTIs are never events, and yet, you know, we're told as family members, oh, that happens. That just happens. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. Well, you can, and you're supposed to. And they're not reported. Like my mother's stage 4 wound was not reported because that will ding their star rating. So you're up against them protecting their marketing. Right, Rick?
Yes, absolutely.
I keep always
because it's all self-reported, meaning that all those star ratings are based on that's how it's done, through self-reporting. And, you know, as Susie said, so they don't report, their star rating stays up. And so when you look at those star ratings, you have to really take them with a grain of salt, because there's much more behind, you know, not to say that I'm sure there are some 4 or 5 stars that are great. They're 4 and 5 stars, but you really have to take that into consideration when you're looking for a facility.
Yeah, I also want to say that, there are good facilities and there are good hospices, but the bad ones outweigh the good ones, unfortunately. So the good ones are the outliers. And so, so in no way are we throwing everybody under the bus. We're not. And like we say in the documentary, our frontline providers are as abused as the residents, because they can't do their job. And so many are leaving the industry because of the moral injury. And so we do end up with staff that are there not because they want to be, but because it's a side gig, and they're not really vested into it with that as you should be in this kind of vocation. It needs to be a vocation, and it needs to, you need to incentivize people that want to work in this industry. And there are so many that want to work in it. You can't work in where you're being abused and taking care of 30 people at one time in one day. It's impossible. It's impossible.
And the other thing is the industry, the business model has for decades been to keep staffing low because that's your biggest cost, and to pay your hands-on care workers are severely underpaid. They're paid close to minimum wage. And so even if you have a heart to work in that environment, you have a heart to take care of people in a nursing home, you're not paid a living wage. So you have to have more than one job in order to survive. And you're overworked because of understaffing to the point where you can, go make the same amount of money or more at a fast food restaurant or in retail, but not have to deal with the moral injury and the workload that the nursing home industry lays on us. I think there was also a comment about profit versus nonprofit. Susie,
Okay.
did you see that comment?
I'll look for it, but you can address it while I'm looking.
Yes, I think there was the comments was that for-profit nursing homes are not as good as nonprofits, and I think to some extent that's true. But 70% of the nursing homes are for-profit. So the vast majority of nursing homes are for-profit nursing homes. And, nonprofit nursing homes, generally, I think, because they don't have the profit motive. The thing about for-profit nursing homes is that they're cutting staff to cut costs. So not so that they can make a reasonable profit, but so they can do what's called tunneling. They tunnel profits out of the nursing home into related businesses like their management company. They may own the therapy company. They own the real estate company that's renting the facility to the nursing home entity, but it all comes under one ownership. The film covers that in great detail. And there's a recent study that looked at one state in particular because they were more transparent about related party entities. And that study, a scientific study, showed that 63% of the profits earned from nursing homes in that state were being tunneled out of the nursing home, away from taking care of the residents, and into related companies for the benefit and for the profit of the ownership. And what I say is, if that was done in a state where they have to report the related party transactions, I'm going to submit to you that the percentage is much higher in the other 49 states where related entity transactions are not required to be disclosed. So a baseline of at least 63% of the profits are being taken out of the nursing homes through these secret transactions to related parties. Why secret? Because they want the nursing home to look like it's barely making money or losing money, because they have to report the nursing home's finances to CMS, and CMS bases its payments, Medicare payments, and its Medicare rates based on the profits, the revenue versus expenses of that nursing home. So they need to make it look like it's losing money, both for the PR of going to the public and saying the Medicaid rates aren't the $90,000 a year on average that we get for each Medicaid patient is not enough for us to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? They that's what their shtick is, and they want to get more money out of Medicaid, but they don't want to use that money to pay for care.
And as somebody in our documentary says, I think his name is Rick Mountcastle, we should all be mad about this because this is your money. This is our taxpayer dollars that are paying for this care or lack thereof. And if nothing else, if you don't care about elderly people or your loved ones or even yourself, then just get mad about the fact that all of this is being paid for by us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that most people, I don't think, know. We didn't know until we started. Actually, Rick did, but we didn't. And I think that's, something we should all be up in arms about this for many reasons, but that's just another one.
Right. And also, I'll just add about the nonprofit. A lot of nonprofits are created by, other types of business models. So they might look like a nonprofit, but it's not at the end of the day. So there's other nefarious reasons why it's there. So there's ways to CMS has I guess you can go to one of their tabs that talk about, what is it, Care Don Care. We just put that in the doc.
Yeah, I'll only think about that.
Where you can look up
Yeah.
like all of the quality reports on each one of those are also self-reported, so you can't rely on those ratings and reports even in CMS. So CMS needs to step up and do a better job. They're not doing their job. There's actually very good regulations that have been written by very, very good committees, and they're in place, but they're not enforced. There's no oversight, and the penalty is at best the cost of doing business. And nothing changes. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Like Lori Sementenko says, not National Consumer Voice has been in business since 1974. It shouldn't have to be in business. And it shouldn't have to be, and it should have gotten way farther than it's gotten, which is basically, there's so many silos across the country who are trying so hard to make change. So it's why the three of us, just here we are saying, please join this movement, because we need to do a grassroots movement. We have to, because this is not my mother's story. This is all of our stories. This is everybody on this call's story. And everyone that will either be, if you live long enough, at some point you will be vulnerable and you will need help, and you do not want to find yourself in a rehab, facility. I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to, because I get inundated now from stories from the public, and my heart breaks. People that have just had a heart attack, or they had, a stroke that they were rehabilitating, and they weren't getting care and died prematurely. Shouldn't have died. It was not, they were not near death.
And it's not just old people. It's
No,
not,
it's not.
This is, there are many, many people who are, not seniors who need this care also. And so we have to, yes, we're no country for old people, but we're really no country for all people, because we all tomorrow we could all be in this situation.
Yeah. And I want to just reiterate one more thing in the documentary. Mike Wasserman, in the full documentary, he actually highlights the fact that it's more than 169,000 residents that died who wouldn't have died otherwise. And that was not from COVID. It was during COVID. It was from isolation and neglect. And because the family members weren't allowed in. So that number actually was somewhere around 200,000 people died. And I don't know how that number is not just, blowing everybody's mind across this country. That's 200,000 people died that shouldn't have died. So it's what our dimensioner said this is the shame of the nation. So please take a look at thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. I will look at all of your notes. I'm passing through them. I see such beautiful heartfelt notes and heartbreaking notes as well, and questions. And we will look through all of these. This is recorded. You can go back and watch it again on YouTube. You can also share it with people. And there's a QR code again in the lower right corner of the screen if you would like to donate to help us finish up with just the final parts that we have to the documentary. And you can also go, let me put there you go, our website if you want to join our movement, if you have any experience in mobilization, please help us. And we really need a strong coalition to make a change. It's been too long. So I thank you all so much.
Thank you.
There's so many people that have been on this journey with us who have been so supportive and continue to be supportive. And it's a big fat labor of love for all of us. And I love all of you. So thank you so much. Don, Rick, do you have anything else you want to close with?
No, just go ahead, Rick. Yeah.
No, I just say thank you as well. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, no, it really means, to take out any time, let alone your Saturday. So thank you for that. It shows you care, and we need more people who care, more people who give a shit. That's what we need. And now we have to, this is just going to be a tool to let people know we need the collective to get behind it. We need we need a movement. And
we
that's
need
what we're
angry
trying to
daughters and angry people. So let's get make some good trouble and with some powerful anger, and let's make some change. Thank you. I guess we'll sign off now.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.